Hi, it's starting out with NuWave Oven recipes, and today I'm going to be grilling up chicken breasts in the NuWave Primo Grill Oven two different ways. I'm going to be making some as strips, and I'm going to be making some as whole chicken breasts in the NuWave Primo Grill Oven, so you can see how to cook them up both ways. And so we're going to get started with that cook right now. Alright, so just to show you the meat that I'm working with here, I stopped over at Sam's Club, picked up some of this Forster Farmer's Market chicken breasts that are non-GMO type, so just giving these a shot. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take basically the chicken breasts that are in these two packs, and I'll cut those down into strips now, and we'll start with the cook of the chicken breast strips. And after we cook up the strips, then we'll do a cook of whole breasts and go through that process. So just going to get these out of the bag that I'm going to cook now and get them set out so that I can start basically cutting them down into strips. So just get these separated, how they have them kind of glued together. And I'll just basically cut this, well, they got a perforation, so we'll just do like that and just keep those here. And these we'll just put back and save these for when we do our whole breast cook. Alright, so our first order of business is just to get these cut down in the strips. So I'm just going to cut them lengthwise to make my chicken strips. So basically 2 come in each individual packet, so I got 4 here. Alright, so I got my strips all cut up. Basically I cut it into 3 strips for each breast, so basically got 12. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just coat both sides of them. I'm going to be using some Old Bay seasoning. I'm going to get it open here, and also going to use some freshly ground black pepper. As I get them coated with these spices, I'm going to get them onto the grill plate of the NuWave Primo Grill Oven. So I'm going to get all that done right now. Alright, I have those all seasoned up. I'm going to just put the lid on my NuWave Primo Grill Oven, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to go ahead and grill these at, let's say, a nice 350, not to cook them too hot or fast. So we're going to do 350, 50% top and bottom. And for the cook time, these probably take, let's say, in case they need 10 minutes aside, which I highly doubt they will, I'm just going to set it out to 20 minutes. I think I'm probably going to let them cook on this side for about, well, maybe I'll just kick it up to 400. Why not? I think it'll be okay. So if we do 400, we're definitely not going to, well, I hit start by accident, but we're not going to need 20 minutes, I'm sure. So let's take it down to like 16 minutes. Maybe we probably only need 8 minutes aside. This thing is so fast. I'm going to take it down to 14 minutes. Do 7 minutes aside at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And so we'll start with that and we'll see how this turns out. Alright, we're coming up on having 7 minutes cooked, and you see a lot of smokes coming out of the sides. I think it's more like steam than smoke. I don't detect it being like a smokiness type of smoke. It's really more like a steam coming off of there, off the vents. So I think we're going to be okay. We're going to be safe. And so once it gets to 7 minutes left, I'll just pause it and flip these chicken breast strips over. But it looks like we're doing pretty good. And so here we are at 7 minutes, 400 degrees. Oh, I don't know what I hit there, but I'll get things right. Let's try and flip. Looks like we don't have any searing marks yet, just doing that 7 minutes, but things are getting pretty well cooked. So I'm going to flip everything over. I'm sure we'll have the sear marks on this opposite side after things are fully cooked. I do expect it probably to only take maybe 7 more minutes at this 400 degree temperature, But either way, we'll check the temperature and we'll see if we're safe or not. And if we need to go longer, then we'll go a little longer. We do have a lot of meat that I've stacked up here, so things are pretty bunched up here. Probably need to get a little more vent room in between some of these pieces. So let's see what we can do. Probably just move some around a little bit just to try and give it all a little room to have a little more space to kind of relax and cook up without, you know, too much touching together there. We'll try that. That looks good. And put that dome back on. And looks like we're good to go. So hit start. Let this run that last 7 minutes, then we'll check some temperature and such. Alright, as we come into the last 20 seconds, you can see there's steam galore coming out. It's definitely steam, not smoke, but just tons of steam coming off this chicken. I'm going to hit it with the instant read thermometer as soon as it's done. Check if these pieces are, you know, 165 or above, and then we'll move on. So I'm going to turn it. Oh, I accidentally hit sear when it's finished, and then it was going into a sear because I guess I accidentally hit the sear button when I was taking the lid off earlier. So it's going to do a little sear for us, but we're going to see how things are right now, just as is. Alright, we're 180 on that piece. We're 177, 176. In this big piece, we're in the 180s. Every piece seems safe. Every piece I test seems safe. So, instant read thermometer works out great. Going to check and see if we got any sear marks. We got no sear marks, so maybe I needed that sear if I wanted some sear marks, but I just want the chicken done. I don't want to, you know, cook too deep into it and possibly dry it. I don't want to dry it out for the sake of grill marks. So, you know, it's nice and juicy the way it is. It's perfectly done, and that's what I want. That's what I like. So, just going to real quick swap the camera and taste test these while they're fresh. Alright, so here's our grilled chicken strips here. You can see it's dripping with moisture. Well, let's taste. Alright, so that tastes great. Turned out great. Very tender, very juicy, very moist. Just 14 minutes. Great stuff. I mean, you don't get the grill marks unless you use like the sear to put a little sear on them or something, but then you get a drier meat, and I'd rather have the moist than to have a pretty sear. But that's my personal preference there. You know, you probably could just start out with the sear, maybe try and cook them and get your sear if you want. But for me, it's about just getting that nice tender juiciness on chicken. On steak, I go for more of the sear. Maybe on pork chops, maybe go for a little bit of sear, but for chicken, you know, I definitely just want that moist, tender, juicy, tasty chicken for my preference there. Now for the chicken breast that I'm about to get into, maybe we'll try and throw a little sear on those. Maybe we'll do a little reverse sear action. So let's go ahead and get started with those right now. Alright, so I've got the chicken breast laid out on the grill plate here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically coat these with some Old Bay, and I'm also going to use a little Mrs. Dash chicken grilling blend that I like. So I'm going to coat both sides, and then I'm going to go ahead and get a meat probe in them, and well, in one of them, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this cook. And I am going to try the old reverse sear on this one, since I can gauge the temperature with more precision with these whole breasts than I could with the strips, because sometimes when you're using a long running probe and thin pieces of meat, it's not necessarily going to give you as reliable a gauge as in thicker pieces of meat. So I didn't want to try and play around with overdoing it with those strips. I'd rather try and do something a little more fancier with these larger cuts. So get one side covered, flip them over, and this is the side that I'm going to do the grilling on and get a nice sear on. So set them in on that side like that, give them a little space so they aren't directly touching, or have a little room to breathe there. Let me get the other side coated up. Old Bay seasoning is some good stuff. And the Mrs. Dash is also very good as well. So just gotta coat that. And then I've got some of that on there. Just gonna shake my Mrs. Dash on. And for you who are not familiar with the Mrs. Dash chicken grilling blend, it's a good tasting blend of spices. I really like it. You'll probably see it, you've probably seen it in many of my chicken cook videos. It just has a real nice flavor to it. Now I've got my meat probe. Going to stick it in deep in the meat. So sticking it on in there. Trying to get it in nice and deep. Alright. I think I've got it in deep there. Gonna go ahead and put my lid on, that power dome. And now that it's on, I'm going to turn the unit on. I'm going to go ahead and we'll keep it that 400 degree Fahrenheit that we used before, and the 50-50. We're going to do a reverse sear type of cook this time using the probe. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and hit the probe button. I want to up my temp to, let's do the 165 thing. And after we do 165, I'm going to do, hitting sear 3 times, it's going to do a in sear. So basically once the meat reaches 165, it should kick into a 5-minute sear, 425. That should definitely get our meat temperature well above the 165 temp. And so we'll see how this turns out. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. We're starting out, our meat temperature is 53 degrees, and we'll see how it comes up from that point. Alright, so things just kicked over into the reverse sear mode. We're going to give 5 minutes at 425 degrees. We were running at 400. And once that meat reached 165, I let that sear kick in. And I'm pretty confident and hoping, Lord willing, that with that sear kicking in at the already cooked temperature, although things will get a good bit hotter, we'll know that it's all done, get some nice sear marks, and maybe it won't be too overdone. But we'll see what happens here with these chicken breasts. Since they're bigger, they should be able to hold a good bit more moisture than some like thin chicken strips, and should come out, pretty nice is what I'm hoping. So I'm gonna let this keep running. We're gonna see how it ends up. Alright, we're coming into our last 20 seconds of this cook. Once it's done, I'll get that instant read in there, check all these chicken breasts out and see if they're all nice and hot and done, and we'll move on from there. So we'll see if we got some nice searing as well. We just got 2 seconds left, and I'm going to stop it before it does any excess of beeping. You saw lots of steam. None of that has been smoked. It's just been lots of steam. I got my instant read thermometer. Going to let's see, turn it this way so you can see. Stick it on in. We're in the 170s, 180s. Stick in there. We're nice and hot. Stick in this one. We're super hot. Stick in there. We're in the 170s, 180s. Stick in there. We're in the 180s. Let's go on the side of this one. We're going up to 164, 160. We're done there. And I stick it deeper in, I get a little hotter. So I'm just kind of poking around, just making sure. And stick it deep in there again, it's good. Everything's good and done. Very well done. Alright, so we're good. So, you know, I could have cooked on one side, and then when it was getting ready to do its reverse sear, I could have flipped them at that point to see if I could get grill marks on both sides, but it looks like we got, I mean, even just keeping it all on one side and then hitting it with the sear, we got some grill marks. It's probably good I didn't flip them. Like this one here, it's got like some, you know, some of it's kind of faint up there, but it's got some. So, flip this last one over, get this out. So this last guy flipped over, now I got the meat probe out of it. Oh, the grill marks on that one looks nice. So, we got some grill mark on all of them. Alright, so I'm going to just take one and just put it on my cutting board. You know, I could give these a little time to reabsorb juices and all that good stuff, you know, which is a good idea. Maybe just give it 5-10 minutes to reabsorb, but I'm just going to cut on in. So I'm just slicing right down on that one there. You can see if I can do it without too much light reflection getting in the way, but it's nice and juicy. It looks good. So I'm just going to cut a piece off of here to do a little taste test, maybe in case I want to taste test too. Alright, so I'm going to get the pan removed and we'll do some taste testing of these grilled chicken breasts with some nice sear marks on them. Alright, so here's our taste test pieces for our grilled whole chicken breasts, or chicken breast halves. So let's go ahead and taste it. You see the juices there on the plate? I mean, it's so juicy. Alright, that turned out super juicy, super moist. I mean, perfect with some searing. The NuWave Primo Grill Oven just does it fantastic. Indoor, grilled up chicken breasts. Great stuff. I mean, it's just great stuff. So anyway, you can get this other recipes at superwaveovenrecipes.com. Ever want to come direct to this YouTube channel, just use waveovenrecipes.com. Twitter and Instagram, Wave Oven Recipes. I want to definitely hear your comments about this. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend. Please subscribe to the channel, and good eating.